In this video, I'm looking at why posting on social media every single day is quietly keeping your business small. And by the end of it, you'll understand exactly why just be more consistent is some of the worst advice a struggling business owner can follow. Stop for a second. If you've been told that the reason you're not getting customers is that you simply don't post enough, I need you to actually consider this for a moment, because that advice sounds productive. It feels like effort, and it is almost completely beside the point. You know the feeling. You sit down on a Sunday night and plan out a week of posts. A tip here, a behind-the-scenes photo there, maybe a customer testimonial on Wednesday. You post consistently for a month, then 2 months, the likes trickle in. A few comments from people you already know. And the actual phone calls, the actual bookings, the actual paying customers stay exactly where they were before you started. So you tell yourself you just need to post more, be more consistent, show up daily. And you do for a while until the exhaustion catches up and you quietly stop, feeling like you failed at marketing. Let me tell you about a business owner I'll call Priya. Priya runs a small physiotherapy clinic. For 6 months, Priya posted every single weekday. Stretches, recovery tips, client wins, the occasional personal post about why she got into the work in the first place. She built a small, loyal following. People liked the posts. Some even commented, "This is so helpful." And almost none of them ever booked a session. Priya assumed the problem was the content itself, so she tried more video, then more reels, then a complete rebrand of the page. The engagement moved around a bit. The bookings barely moved at all. Priya wasn't lazy. She wasn't bad at this. She was doing exactly what the advice told her to do every single day for half a year. And it almost didn't matter. She'd done the math on it too, in the way most business owners eventually do when nothing's moving. 6 months, roughly 26 weeks, 5 posts a week on average. Once you factor in the slower weeks, that's well over 120 pieces of content. An enormous amount of genuine effort, real time spent writing captions, filming, editing, and scheduling. And when she actually sat down and counted how many of those 120-odd posts she could trace, even loosely, to an actual booked session, the number was close enough to zero that it stopped feeling like bad luck and started feeling like a pattern. Here's the uncomfortable truth, and it applies to Priya, and it very likely applies to you too. Posting consistently was never the missing piece. You'd been mistaking activity for a strategy, and the algorithm was happy to let you believe that for as long as you kept showing up. And once you see this clearly, you can never go back to measuring your marketing by how many posts you got out this week, because you'll realize the number of posts was never actually the thing that mattered. There's a very specific reason consistent posting feels like progress while quietly producing almost no new customers. It's not about your content quality. It's not about your niche. It's about something almost nobody talks about. And once I show you what it is, you'll start noticing it in every active social media page that somehow still isn't growing the business behind it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why daily posting plateaus so fast, why likes and follows can completely disconnect from actual revenue, and what the actual fix looks like, not in theory, but in a way you can picture for your own page today. Here's the real cause, and it's going to sound strange at first. Posting frequency optimizes for the algorithm's goals, not yours. Every platform wants you to post often because frequent posting keeps you and your followers on the platform longer. That serves their business model perfectly. It does not automatically serve yours. You can satisfy the algorithm completely, post every day, get decent reach, and still never once put your offer in front of someone who's actually ready to buy, because the algorithm was never optimizing for find Priya new physiotherapy clients. It was optimizing for watch time. Think about what that actually means. You've been measuring success by a number, posts per week, that has almost no causal relationship to the number you actually care about, paying customers per month. They can move in completely different directions and frequently do. That's not a strategy. That's confusing the scoreboard for the game. This shows up in a strange way if you actually pull up your own numbers. Most business owners can tell you exactly how many posts they put out last month. Almost none can tell you how many of those posts actually led to a booking, because they were never tracking the thing that mattered. They were tracking the thing that was easy to count. It's a bit like judging a salesperson by how many calls they dialed rather than by how many deals they closed. Activity feels measurable and controllable, so we cling to it, even when it tells us almost nothing about whether the business is actually moving forward. So let's actually break this down. Why does consistent posting fail to convert into customers, even when it's genuinely working as content? Here's the first thing nobody tells you. Most posts are built for people who are not ready to buy yet, and frequency multiplies that mismatch rather than fixing it. A tip, a behind-the-scenes moment, a relatable joke, these are all fine content. But they're built for awareness, not decision. If your offer never actually appears clearly inside your content, posting that same kind of content twice as often just means twice as many people scroll past something pleasant without ever being told what you actually sell or why they should book today rather than someday. Priya's posts were genuinely useful. They were also almost entirely silent about the fact that she had availability this week. This is one of the most common patterns across small businesses that feel stuck despite real effort. The content is good, the advice in it is sound, the presentation is professional, and it still doesn't move the needle because being helpful and being persuasive are not the same skill, and most posting calendars are optimized entirely for the former. A genuinely helpful tip can leave someone feeling informed and satisfied with absolutely no reason to act because the content quietly answered their question well enough that booking you now feels unnecessary rather than urgent. Second, and this is the one that really stings, more posts dilute your message rather than reinforcing it. When you're producing content daily, you don't have time to make each piece sharp, specific, and built around one clear idea. You end up cycling through a grab bag of topics just to fill the calendar, and your audience never gets a consistent, repeated understanding of exactly who you help and exactly what changes for them. Repetition builds memory. Variety for its own sake erodes it. So the daily poster often ends up less memorable than the business that posts once a week with absolute clarity about one specific problem they solve. This is counterintuitive because we're taught that more content equals more chances to be seen, and on the platform's terms, that's even technically true. But being seen and being remembered are not the same achievement. Someone can scroll past your post, register it for a fraction of a second, feel a small flicker of recognition, and forget it existed within the hour because nothing about it was specific enough to stick. Do that daily for 6 months, and you've produced an enormous volume of content that cumulatively left almost no lasting impression on anyone, because each individual piece was competing with the other 29 you posted that month for the same small slice of someone's attention and memory. Third, and this is the part that explains why effort and results feel so disconnected, the platforms reward engagement signals that have nothing to do with buying intent. A comment, a like, a save, these simply tell the algorithm, keep showing this, but they don't tell you anything about purchase readiness. You can build a page full of people who genuinely enjoy your content and have no plan ever to become a customer, because liking content and needing your service are two completely different mental states. Chasing the engagement number trains you to optimize for the wrong audience entirely, and it's a particularly seductive trap because the dopamine hit of a post doing well feels identical whether or not it actually did anything for the business. Now here's where it gets interesting, because this is where most advice gets it backwards. The standard fix people suggest is post even more, try more formats, and be even more consistent. And sure, more reach can occasionally produce a few more inquiries by sheer volume. But it doesn't fix the actual problem because the problem was never volume. You've just added more noise on top of a message that was never built to convert in the first place. The real fix isn't post more often. It's building content around a small number of pieces that do one job extremely well. Clearly state the specific problem you solve for the specific person who has that problem, with a specific reason to act now rather than later. One piece of content like that, seen by the right 100 people, will outperform 100 pieces of vague, pleasant content seen by the wrong 10,000 every single time. Think about what actually makes a piece of content convert in the first place. It's not how recently it was posted. It's that the right person, at the right moment in their decision-making, saw something that named their exact problem and made the next step obvious. If you could build content around that, instead of around, what do I post today to keep the streak going, you wouldn't need to post daily to grow. You'd need far fewer pieces, doing far more work, because each one would actually be built to move someone from interested to booked, rather than just to exist. That's the shift. Not more frequency, not more formats, not a longer streak. Content engineered around the specific moment someone decides to buy, rather than content engineered to satisfy a posting schedule. This matters more right now than it did a few years ago, because feeds are more crowded than ever, and the businesses winning aren't the ones posting the most. They're the ones whose handful of pieces actually say something specific enough to be remembered and acted on. Frequency without specificity is just noise with good intentions. There's a quieter cost to the daily posting treadmill too, one that rarely makes it into the advice. It's your own energy. Producing content every single day, indefinitely, is not sustainable for most business owners who are also trying to actually run the business, deliver the service, and have something resembling a life outside of it. So eventually, the posting slips, the guilt creeps in, and you start treating marketing as a chore you're failing at, rather than a system that's working for you. A handful of sharp, deliberate pieces, built to last and built to convert, doesn't just perform better. It's something you can actually sustain without burning out, because you're not fighting the calendar every single day to find something to say. I'm not going to pretend the exact mechanics of building this fits neatly into the next 90 seconds. But I want you to leave this video with one specific realization. The goal was never post every day. The goal is to post the right thing to the right person at the moment it actually matters to them. And here's the part I want you to understand after you close this video. Priya didn't need 100 more posts. She needed about 5 pieces of content that clearly said, here's exactly what's wrong, here's exactly how I fix it, and here's exactly why you should book this week instead of next month. Once she shifted to that, posting actually got easier, not harder, because she wasn't scrambling to fill a calendar with something, anything, every single day. The relief of that alone, no longer treating her own marketing as a daily debt she owed the algorithm, was almost as valuable as the new bookings that followed it. For more on exactly how this works, click the link below this video. Most business owners only realize their content was missing this after months of effort with little to show for it, the way Priya did. You don't have to take 6 months to find out. Look at your last 20 posts honestly right now, while this is still fresh in your mind, and ask whether a stranger scrolling past would know exactly what you sell and exactly why this week specifically is the week to book. Now, if you found this helpful, I'd love for you to show some love by hitting that like button. It really helps us out and lets us know what content you enjoy. Here's my question for you, and I genuinely want to know how many of your last 20 posts actually named the specific problem you solve and told someone exactly what to do next. Be honest. Drop the number in the comments. And if you know a business owner who's exhausted from posting daily with nothing to show for it, do them a favor and send them this video, because right now they probably think the answer is posting more. You and I both know it's actually posting smarter.